Hello there. If you're watching this video and you happen to have been abused as a child, please stick with me. And if not, stick with me anyway because I think this is important. You know, in the Bible, it tells us that God has plans for us. And I'll read to you out of Jeremiah 29:11. And this is God. He says, "For I know the plans I have for you. This is the Lord." This is the Lord's declaration. Plans for your welfare. Some say plans to prosper you, not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. Verse 12 says, "You will call to me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you." So I want to tell you, there's other verses that say God knew you before you were in your mother's womb. And I believe He has plans for every single person. And we have to look for the people that God puts in our life to take us in the right direction. And we also have to be aware of the people that are trying to drag us away from God's plan. So I'll tell you a little about my testimony. God put me in a home with a good family, but my mom and dad didn't go to church, never talked about the Bible, never told me anything about the Bible whatsoever. However, God put some neighbors next door, Howard and Evelyn Christie, and the whole time I was growing up, they would share little short, I call it the baby food, little short Bible studies, little short Bible stories. And as I became a teenager, they repeatedly said, if you die before you get saved, you're going to go to hell and it's going to be really bad. So I'm a Christian because of them. I knew how to get saved because of them. Not because I went to a church, not because I went to church my whole life. Never went to church at all. Didn't have a home church or anything when I got saved. But now I want to switch over and tell you about my dad. My dad was a good man, hard-working man. I followed after him. I became a hard-working man too. Not so hard now at 66. I can't do the things I used to do, but when I was 12 years old, it was discovered that my dad wasn't who we always knew him as. You see, he had been abused as a child, and the only things he told me was that he took some terrible beatings, and he had ran away from home as a teenager. He ran away from home. He changed his name and he changed his age, and he kept that a secret for 33 years. So for 33 years, he had this secret inside that we didn't know. And at 12 years old, God taught me something through this. And he was 50 years old, and he was still afraid at 50 years old that his dad would find him and beat him again. So God taught me through that abused children, what happens to them mentally never goes away. Now, all of a sudden, I had 7 aunts. I think I had 7 aunts, 7 uncles, and all these cousins. They were all different. They lived different lives. Their houses smelled different. We went to meet them. Their accent was different. And the one thing that might make you laugh a little bit is my aunts. I'm 12 now at the time. They loved to kiss the 12-year-old boy right on the lips. And it was always a wet kiss. You're wiping their spit off your lips at the end. And so I learned real fast how to avoid that. But I learned, God taught me something through that. God taught me how the foster child feels when all of a sudden he's ripped from his home and put in this other home that's strange, it's different than his. Okay, so I saw the effects of the abuse, and I saw how the foster child would feel when he's ripped out of the home. But let's talk about my mother for a minute. My mother, she was first, she worked in the nursery at the hospital. She loved little babies. So she worked where the newborn babies were. Then she became a foster parent. And again, here I'm seeing these children come into our home, unwanted children, and I saw her love them and take care of them. And I remember her singing to these babies and rocking them and putting them to bed. And I saw how she loved children. And then later she would become a nanny and a nurse's aide, always taking care of somebody, always loving caring for other people. So God taught me, I saw how my mother loved and took care of other people, and the foster children especially. One thing that I see happening still today is these government agencies that are supposed to protect these children and the courts that are supposed to protect the children will give them right back to the same people that beat them up, that abused them. And with the rest of my life, I'd like to fight to change the law. So if you harm a child, your butt's going to jail. You physically hurt a child, you're going to jail. And if you sexually hurt a child, you should go to jail for life. So anyway, moving along. Now, as a teenager, I became this drunken, drinking, driving cars way too fast, doing things I shouldn't do. And life got really bad, and I was depressed. It was empty. And some bad things happened. I got some pills and some alcohol, and I decided I was going to check out of here. Didn't want to be on this earth anymore. So, took a bunch of pills, and I saw myself. I saw myself laying on my bed. I heard everything going on around me. I saw everything going on around me. Ended up in intensive care at the hospital, and the first person to come to see me was my Christian neighbor. And he was quick to let me know that if I had succeeded, that I'd be in hell. And it wasn't long after that, I'll cut this short, it wasn't long after that till I got on my knees and I got saved, and I asked God, told God I was sorry. I screwed up. I couldn't even kill myself right. I'd messed my whole life up. Just help me, show me what to do. If you put something in front of me, then I will do it. Well, he started putting abused children in front of me. I'll tell you about the first one. Is really the second one. I lived in Illinois at the time. My mother saw this little boy out in the snow. He's playing in the snow, and he's got ragged shoes and doesn't have a coat on. And my mom says, "Go and see why that boy don't have his coat on. He's going to freeze to death." I went out and I said, "Hey, how old are you?" He said, 7. I said, "Well, where's your coat?" "Oh, we can't afford a coat." Well, my mother was going to have no part of that. She said, "You go find that boy's mother and tell her we're going to take him to the store and buy him a coat." And we did. My mother bought him a coat. I think she got him gloves and everything else, too. And he starts hanging around at our house. And, boy, he was annoying. He would ask questions and get into stuff and hyper. And he would go home, and I'd say, "Oh, boy, I'm glad that's not my boy." God has a sense of humor. He was the second child that came along that I was able to take into my house and raise. And that boy is now 50 years old. He's my son. I got legal custody of him, and I'm his dad, and I love him. And I want to keep this video under 10 minutes, so if you watch this video, and there have been a lot of other kids that have come along. 2 have died, one from fentanyl, one from a car wreck. And it's really hard to do, to have a child die like that. But anyway, if you're on here and you like this video, and if you've been abused in some way as a child, you can message me. And I hope you have a blessed day, and look for the people that God sends along to teach you His way, and then be aware of the people the devil's going to send along to try to drag you away from God. Thank you, and may God bless your day.